All right, let's talk some quantum computing. George Tillis taking a look at QMCO for us, the overlooked stock of the day. George, big move here, more than a double. So take me through it, as it wasn't the only one in sort of the quantum world moving. And by the way, a pretty big deal here in Illinois, too. We got the Quantum Center. All right, so tell me about it, George.
Well, I mean, look, I think there's a lot of obviously movement today in stocks, or actually as of recently in the quantum naming computing space. And I use the word name because there are a lot of companies out there that have quantum in the name, but don't necessarily fit the bill for quantum computing as it's traditionally known for. So you're seeing a huge movement in a lot of these names. In particular, I talked about QUBT earlier today, and that stock has been ripping since around October, around 17th of October. So there's a lot of momentum going on with periphery technologies, and I think quantum computing is an evolving technology. But there's also parallel movements in prices associated with what's going on with blockchain. Bitcoin, of course, is a primary proxy. Artificial intelligence, and now quantum computing is catching on as sort of a hype trade. And again, looking at Quantum Corporation here, QMCO, this is a real company. They actually generate real revenues.
Yeah.
It's a technology
Chantilly, Virginia.
Storage and periphery.
I used to run track meets there.
They're a technology hardware and storage periphery company. They actually provide data compression as well as cataloging, storage, and of course, housing of data for video. And so that includes maybe things like training videos or even surveillance video. But nonetheless, there was some news. Actually, there was a couple of news items today. And I think alongside some of the other momentum, parallel technologies like blockchain, we're seeing algorithms really latch on to some of these names, with this stock higher by over 140 or so percent at one point in time. But they did release a new data compression technology as well as integrating higher cybersecurity protocols within their technologies. They do help support AI, unstructured data, as well as applications. So again, there's something here from a technology standpoint. They again also are moving higher, I think, because if you look at some of the news today, Amazon Services said they launched a quantum embark program. Now, you may be able to fill in here, OJ, for me a little bit, but I didn't actually research that component of the news. But with that said, you can see that algorithm traders and their machine learning actually latched onto these stocks today, with a lot of them up significantly. So looking at this particular name, if you were to say who they compete with, well, I think when it comes down to the AI application and software component, they compete with companies like IBM and Dell, as well as NetApp, all of which have reported lately. But at the same time, you got to think about the storage markets. That includes companies like Western Digital and Seagate, which again are some of these larger legacy players out there.
All right, so a few things is one, Quantum Corp is not mentioned directly in the Amazon announcement. I think the idea is that just Amazon's going to like push their customers into this. So is a bunch of other companies. Rigetti Computing is one that moved. That stock, RGTI, popped pretty big. D-Wave Quantum, QBTS popped as well. So, yeah, they're not the only one. It seemed like it was more of a speculative thing because there's no names tied to the Amazon story, so you got to kind of be a little bit careful on it. But, I mean, look, it's very real. Like I mentioned, here in Illinois, we got the Quantum Campus that they've been putting a good chunk of money in, a couple bill. So definitely seems like there's still some pressure to continue to facilitating this science. They're San Jose based now. So, all right, big move, George, though, but it seems like we got to, like, get some real substance to justify it.
Correct. And so, if you zoom out, and this is where you have to use some charts, and again, looking at the charts relative to some of the financials, looking at the 5-year chart, you'll actually see it's down significantly. But there are pockets or, times in that 5-year period where you do see run-ups and significant run-ups. And we're actually within a run-up right now in this particular name, but also in those other companies in mention that have quantum computing in their name, but also, again, quantum computing from an R&D standpoint is essentially another one of these periphery technology. I think their data deciphering and cryptographic technologies that quantum computing provides are probably going to be integrated in some capacity with blockchain along with artificial intelligence. But nonetheless, again, a headline can make a moving stock like this go parabolic. Because if you look at the market capitalization about a week ago, it was around 43 million, which is nothing. And so it can be pushed around quite aggressively, and it has. And as of the close today was around 285 million. But you have to look at the context of sales, which again, last year were 240 million. Going into next year, they're expecting a decline in sales of 276 million, with about $6.80 of losses per share sequentially in the next 2 years. So for what it's worth, again, they're not expected to earn any money, but the stock price hasn't reflected that.
All right, thanks, George. They got a long ways to go on the price chart, so pretty ugly unwind. Appreciate it, GT.